Hello, my name is Jordan Gibbs. I'm here with the Career and Technical Ed program at Gold Lake High School, and I'm here to teach you about how to set up a virtual machine. First off, I'm going to be taking a look at my file management over here. See Linux VM. I have my backup, which I'm going to teach you how to make backups as they're important with making virtual machines. I have my ISO file. If I click in here, it shows that I have my Ubuntu, which is a distribution of Linux, and I have my OS standing for operating system. Now you might be asking yourself, how do I get this Ubuntu file? Well, I'm going to show you. If I pull over my notes here, I have a link in Linux for resources, and it goes to linux.org. This page here, exactly. And we have all these different flavors of Linux here. And we see Kali here. I've been using a bit of that here and there, but today we're going to focus on Ubuntu. Now, if we click on this link here, we're going to be brought to this page. And after you get here, we're going to click on Download Ubuntu Desktop. In here, you can search up for the version I'm using. I'm using Ubuntu 18, as we see over here. But there's many Ubuntu versions. But today, I'm going to focus on Ubuntu 18. You can install these if you want, but that's how I got this ISO file. When you download it, make sure it goes to some sort of organized ISO like file directory, as having good file management and organized file management is important when searching for things. Um, Now we got this. Um, but you could do that before or after you get a hypervisor 2, or if you're already on a hypervisor 1, that would be crazy because that's pretty cool. Anyway, to get a hypervisor 2, I went to my notes here, and I went to my resources, and we're using VMware Workstation Player. It's free to use. It brings us to this page here, and you could just click download for Windows or download for Linux. If you're on a Windows, like I'm on Windows 11, you're going to want to hit download for Windows. If you're using Linux as your host operating system, well, you're going to want to press download for Linux. After that is done, you're basically set up as you want to, or you could put your VMware Workstation on your desktop here. Won't be too hard. Um, and after you get that, all you want to do is just open that bad boy up, double click on it. That's what I did. We see here that I have an Ubuntu 18 virtual machine going on, but that's for a different class. Or, well, it's the same class that I'm in right now, but it's for a different thing that I'm working on. Now, all we're gonna do is we're gonna hit create a new virtual machine. After we do that, I'm gonna browse here, and I'm gonna go back to my desktop here to show you what I did. We're on my desktop, which is this part right here. We see the folders, two folders, one, two. We're gonna click on Linux VM. Well, that's what I'm gonna do. We're not gonna click on backup. We're not gonna click up. We're gonna click on ISO because that's where we want to get the Ubuntu file this file from. We're gonna click on that. As we see, it's down here. We're gonna click on open. As we see, we got it on the directory, or breadcrumbs, I should say. That's what I think that's what most people call them. And we're not going to click on this. We're going to click next. Full name, I'm just going to say Jordan. Tab. Don't put any capital letters in this username. If you do, I'll show you what happens. Nice, not very secure password. You want to always have a good secure password for anything. I'm just making mine's not very secure because it's just a tutorial. Now, we see I got a capital letter in here. If I hit next, oopsie, you have an invalid username, and usernames must only be lowercase letters. So I just want to go back here, make that not capitalized, and now we're brought to this here. And we got an Ubuntu 64-bit. I'm gonna erase that, and we're just gonna call it Ubuntu. After we got that, we're gonna have this location. Where do I want this Ubuntu file at? Well, I'm gonna go to desktop here. I want in Linux, and I'm gonna put that in my OS or operating system. I'm gonna hit OK with that. And we see on the breadcrumbs, I have my user, I have my desktop going into Linux VM, and then going into OS. I'm gonna hit next on that, and it works pretty well. I'm gonna hit 60 gigabytes here. The reason why I'm gonna do that, if I go to my system information, all you gotta do is hit the Windows key, type system information, and this pops up. Now, how do I know how much disk space I should use? Well, oh, this ain't working. But anyways, I'll show you that in a second. I just opened it, but use however much maximum size you can. Splitting it into a virtual disk means that it won't use the 60 gigabytes all at once. It's going to use it as time goes on as we install more stuff into it. But I'm going to hit next. I'm going to customize the software, and I'm going to hit 8. And I'll explain that reason while I'm doing why I did 8 gigabytes in a bit. I'm going to do 3 cores. I do have 6. And I also did 8 gigabytes because I have 32 gigs of RAM, random access memory. And I'm going to show you how you could find that information out in a bit. Close that, and I'm going to hit finish. I'm going to hit OK, and the virtual machine should be opening up. But while that's opening up, I'm going to put that to the side here, and I'm going to look at this. Now we see a system summary. Now this system summary, if I do this, we have my processors, which is my CPU. I have 6 cores, so I used 3 for my virtual machine because hypervisors do take resources. Think of it as like a computer inside of a computer. Without any resources, it wouldn't really function that well. So I put 3 cores in there. Now for the gigabytes, I show my installed physical RAM. And I see I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is pretty good. Um, and these are all my resources here. Now, if I go to components, I believe, storage, and drives, we see that I have 953 gigabytes of storage. And I have 685 free space on that whole storage. And that's why I chose 60 gigabytes, because that wouldn't really be that much compared to this. Again, Windows, just start typing system information, and you could get all this stuff. There's a bunch of other things here, but that I'm not gonna get into because it's not really needed to know for this. But yeah, those are the main things you need to know. So I'm gonna exit out of that, and I'm gonna bring my virtual machine back here a bit. It's still loading. You should get to that place in a bit. I'm gonna load up my notes here, and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about hypervisors. Well, hypervisors, there's 2 types, I should say. Um, Hypervisor 1 and Hypervisor 2. In Hypervisor 1, you already have like a virtual machine, like it is the virtual machine like installed. And that's Hypervisor 1 that doesn't need a host operating system, as it is the host operating system basically. Hypervisor 2, on the other hand, it does need a host operating system. I have a good image in my notes here that I'm going to show off while my virtual machine is loading, and it's right here. As we see here, we have the hardware, which is the computer, and then we have the hypervisor already installed on it. That's for a hypervisor 1. And the 2 guests, those are virtual machines. And we have the hardware here, again, which is a computer, and we have the host OS. My host is Windows 11. And and then I installed a hypervisor, which is this virtual machine VMware Workstation 17. That's my hypervisor that I installed on there, and it goes to guest 1 and guest 2. In this case, it's going to be my Ubuntu. That's the virtual machine. Um, there's pros and cons to both, of course, as I've written in my notes. Um, in my notes, it says that Hypervisor 2 is a physical machine and operating system installed on hardware, Windows, Windows, Mac OS. Oh, here we go. My thing is loaded up, but before that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what it is. So as we see here, that it's a physical operating machine. It's installed on hardware, which is this computer, and Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and it's a software that within an operating system. As we see, I have my VMware workstation, so that's in my operating system of Windows 11. What makes it convenient is it does not need a management console on another system to set up and manage virtual machines, and everything is performed on a server with the hypervisor installed. And virtual machines launch in a standard OS window, and hosted hypervisors also act as management consoles for virtual machines. Any task can be performed using the built-in functionalities. I've talked a bit about Hypervisor 2. It's time to move on to Hypervisor 1. Type 1 hypervisor is a layer of software installed directly on top of a physical server and its underlying hardware. Since no other software runs between the hardware and the hypervisor, it is called the bare metal hypervisor. It's already on there. Um, there's a bunch of pros and cons, of course. I'm not going to get into that today. I put my image here in my notes, and I'm going to get back into what I call the virtual machine. Now, you should be brought to a page like this after it's done loading. I'm going to click on my name here. After I click on my name, I'm going to type in my password, and I'm going to hit enter. Now we're in this thing. I just clicked next, and I'm going to click next again. I'm going to hit no here. I don't want this. You can if you want, but I'm most likely going to say no every time. Next. Next. Please work. Okay, there we go. I'm going to hit done. Now, this is called a bionic beaver. I don't know where it gets that name from, but that's just what I learned. It's an interesting fact. Now, as you can see here, it's Thursday, but it's not 10:45. I can see it's 1:45 down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go click on this power button here, ones and zeros, also known as binary, 1 being on, 0 being off. Well, you might get some update notices as well. So I'm going to click cancel, don't upgrade, cancel. And I'm going to go back into my settings here and get back to what I was talking about. So on here, you can go details, dating time, and I'm going to click on this time zone here. I'm not in LA, I'm currently in Michigan. I'm not in Detroit, but it's going to say Detroit because that's Eastern time. So now that we're in here, I'm going to exit out of that. This is military time. I'm not a big fan, so I'm going to do AM to the PM. After we do that, we're going to load up our terminal here. You do that by hitting Control-Alt-T. Control-Alt-T, meaning terminal. And after that, one thing I forgot to do, I just paused the recording, is I forgot to show you how to embed yourself in the virtual machine. So all you gotta do is hit this little full screen mode. It even says enter full screen mode. After you do that, you might want to click this little pin. If I do that, it's going to stay like that up there. If you want to do that, and you could hide that as well. Now that I'm in here, I'm going to show you how to shut down your virtual machine. So all you got to do is type sudo, which means super user do, if I'm not mistaken, shut down. When do I want to shut it down? I want to shut it down now. Boom. Oh, almost forgot the password. Now, when you type your password in here, it's not gonna show up, but I did type it. You just gotta type your password in, no spaces, nothing like that, and just click enter. Did I mess something up? Sudo shut down now. There we go. I wonder why. I must have misspelled something or something. I got no idea what it is. We're gonna click OK, and now we're back here. One thing I forgot to mention is what the CPU stands for and what the RAM stands for. I might have said the RAM, but RAM means random access memory. CPU means central processing unit. And I think that's all I'm going to be getting into today. I hope that I was a little bit of help in helping you install a virtual machine. Thank you for watching this video, and have a great day.